button at the bottom. Well, hello, welcome to At Home with Richie. This is like a mini vlog which I created inside Litchfield's Lifestyles. If you've just joined me for the first time, please click on that subscribe button at the bottom of the screen. I've decided I want to find a nature reserve, and I've been having a look on the map of London and some of the sort of nature reserves around the outskirts of London. And I found one which is in Hitchin, which is just under 20 miles from London. And the great thing about this nature reserve and bird sanctuary is it has a waterfall. So I'm going today to the Alton Head Common waterfall. Okay, so we've arrived at the destination. We are parked in a little road called West Mill Lane, and it's about a 5-minute walk to the river. There is a footpath which leads off across some farmers' fields on the right hand side. But if you want to go to the river, just carry straight on down the little lane. Oh, it's a bit creepy down here. Look at the cornfields. It's like something out of Stephen King's Children of the Corn.
When you get to the end of the road, you'll see a gate on your left-hand side. Now, this is the path you need to take down to the nature reserve.
Joe's getting a bit excited because we're getting closer to the waterfall. We can hear some noise. So when we got to the gate and the sign, we're taking a right, and we are now heading down a little track alongside the river. And apparently the waterfall is about 50 metres up on the right hand side. How exciting. We found the waterfall. It's not as big as I imagined.
The Hitchin waterfall is actually a weir. It's an overflow from the mill stream above.
The river here is the River Alton, and this is the world famous Hitchin waterfall. Now, I've travelled far and wide, I've seen quite a lot of waterfalls, and nothing as compared to the Hitchin waterfall. It's definitely worth having a walk around the nature reserve here. You'll see birds like the woodcock, the kingfisher. There's a whole variety depending on the time of year you come down. I think I should be presenting Country Fire. What do you reckon?
Oh, it's fantastic, really good. Look, I'm going to spend the day picking berries.
Make that into wine.
Yeah.
Don't eat it.
Yes, don't eat it, yes. If you're not sure what anything is, don't eat it.
One good thing about the lockdown is that it does get you out to explore your local area. I've seen things that are close to me that I didn't even know existed. So that's it here in Hitchin. If you've enjoyed the vlog, please do click on that subscribe button right at the bottom of the screen. It's free, and if you click on that bell as well, every time I release a new video, you'll get a notification straight to your inbox. That's it from me. Thanks for watching.
Hi everyone, hello and welcome to Izzy Wizzy Let's Get Quizzy. I'm your host Richie Litchfield. For the next 1 hour, we're doing 1 hour of pub quizzes. And this week, the theme is the movies. And I've got a very special announcement. We've got a special guest in the studio. He's not actually in the studio, it's virtual studio. It's Brian Barnes, director of The Redeeming, will be joining us a little bit later on with a round of questions, all based on the movies as well. So how this works is there's 4 different rounds of 10 questions. We have got some general knowledge, basically, all based on the movies. So you've got 20 of those. You've got 10 movie posters that you need to guess from. And Brian's got a mixed bag for you as well. If for any reason we lose the stream, the broadcast, just head to our website, which is Izzy Wizzy Let's Get Quizzy.com. We'll restart it again and hopefully we'll be peering back on there at some point, should anything happen, but hopefully, fingers crossed, it won't. Now, it's completely free to get involved in the quiz. All you need is a pen and piece of paper, or you can play on your mobile phone. You can play on your own, you can play with other people, you can play virtually, use Zoom. We've had people from all over the world, as far out as New Zealand, playing Izzy Wizzy Let's Get Quizzy. So do join in. And we have got our chat box as well, which is just here. And you can get involved with our chat as well. And to do that, all you need to do is click on the subscribe button at the bottom of the screen. If you're watching on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, Periscope, whatever you're watching on, like us, share us to your friends, and spread the love, if you know what I mean. And I'll come to everybody in the chat room in just a moment, because I can see we've got some new faces in the house, including Darren. Hello, Darren. Great to have you here. And I can see eagerly waiting in our wings is the lovely Brian Barnes as well. He's going to be talking to us a little bit about his film, The Redeeming, and also about his new documentary that he's currently making as well. As well as that, he's got a mixed bag of questions, which he'll be throwing out to you guys as well. That's all coming up. Okay, but first up, let's crack on with round 1, question 1, which is all based on the movies. It would help if I had my piece of paper, wouldn't it? Okay, so I need to put my glasses on for this. Mr. Producer, is it all sounding okay downstairs? Can I just check that for me? Number 1, who won the Oscar for Best Supporting Oscar for his role in 1993 version of The Fugitive? Okay, so who won the Oscar for Best Supporting Oscar for his role in the 1993 film The Fugitive? What is the answer to that one there? Okay, let's have a look and see who we've got in the house. We've got the lovely Chris Walker, all the way from, I have to think about this, Ramsgate. I nearly said Ramsbottom in the house. Great to have you here, Chris. And we've got Darren Eustace, a new player. Great to have you here. Joseph O'Loughlin is in the house as well. Lovely to have you. Christine Lathwell is watching in Stopsy. Big shout out to you as well. Lola, who's watching in Pennsylvania. Big shout out to you as well. So do pop your name in here and we'll try and read out as many of those as possible. Okay, number 2. So you need to put your movie head on for this. Number 2. Who sang Beauty and the Beast over the end credits of Disney's 1991 movie? So who sang Beauty and the Beast over the end credits of Disney's 1991 movie? What is the answer to that one there? Okay, so let me just tell you a little bit about our special guests that we do have on the show this week. I've known Brian Barnes for many, many, many years. Since I was in my, actually, I'm digging myself in a hole here, since I was in my early 20s. When he used to be my producer when I was doing lots of different Sky shows, presenting on there. And he was a fabulous producer, but he's spread his wings and he's gone on to pastures new, and he's been making loads of movies. And he's actually made a feature film, which is available. You can watch it for free if you've got Prime, and you can watch it on there, or you can visit his website. He's going to tell you all about that. As well as that, we've also got, he's also making a documentary, and he makes all these other films as well. He's going to be talking to us about that a little bit later on, and he's got some questions for you as well. So this week, it's all based on the movies. Okay, so Lisa Honeybone is in the house as well. Lovely to have you here, Lisa Honeybone. Number 3, who played the title role in the 1993 movie Dave? So who played the title role in the 1993 movie Dave. That's number 3. Cheers, everyone. It is a pub style quiz down the hatch. I wonder what Brian Barnes is drinking tonight. Normally it's buckets of vodka. I'm so going to get a slap for that, I tell you. I really am. Oh, no, I can see him. No, he's got something going on down there. Fabulous. I think there's a little whiskey, isn't it? I'll bring him in a minute. He's a bit shy. He's waiting eagerly in the wings. Darren, yeah, that's a great answer, but I don't think that's the right one we're looking for, to be honest. Okay. So what did Lisa Honeybone say to me? I can't read it, Lisa. I haven't got that thing open on here. Okay, so number 4. Who played Cruella de Vil in the 1996 version of 101 Dalmatians? So who played Cruella de Vil in the 1996 version of 101 Dalmatians? I love that character. It's fantastic, isn't it? And Disney are actually bringing out a film called Cruella very soon. It's going to be available soon to watch in cinemas. So I'm going to be first in the queue to watch that. I love it. And what do you prefer? Do you prefer the old movie that came out, 101 Dalmatians, or do you prefer the animated one, the classic? What do you prefer? Let me know. Put it in the chat box just here. I did have something to tell you all, and I've completely forgotten. I've had a blonde moment, to be perfectly honest. Oh, yeah, Lisa Honeybone, the mean moderator in the North. She's keeping an eye on all the chat just here. So remember, keep it clean. Don't be mean. We are a family show. We do have lots of young ones playing as well. Yeah, say hello. Let us know where you're watching from as well. Okay, right. And what is your favourite Disney film? Have you got a favourite Disney film? I think mine has got to be the 101 Dalmatians. It has to be 101 Dalmatians. I love it. And I used to love all the films they used to bring out, you know, every Christmas. There was a Disney film coming out on the TV. I loved it. It's fantastic. Oh, show me age now. Right, I want to bring him in so he can say a quick hello to you, to be perfectly honest. I'm keeping you all waiting in suspense. Let's see. Let's bring him in now. Are you ready for me then, Brian? Give me a thumbs up. He's coming in. Here he is, the lovely Brian Barnes. Hello, how are you?
Hello, Richie. Lovely to see you. Thank you for having me on your show.
Are you nervous?
Well, yeah, I'm worried about, you know, am I going to get full marks on this round at the moment? That's what's on my mind.
Oh, well, you'll have to probably catch up with some of the questions from other people. Anyway, this is Brian Barnes down there. I thought he was going to be side by side, but he's down there beneath me. So you're going to be telling us all about your movie, The Redeeming, and you've got a really good round of questions for us, haven't you, Brian?
I have, yes. I've got 10 questions on British film history, and I've balanced out the questions. So some of them are quite straightforward and simple that pretty much anybody would get. And then other ones are really obscure, and only the real people, you know, who are really into their film history will get those. So it should be a nice balance.
So you'll probably be moaned at by Christine Laughwell watching in Stopsley because she'll say it's too hard. But we'll see. Anyway, we'll get you on for round 2 then, okay?
I look forward to it. Thanks.
Ta-ra. Okay, so where am I? Number 5. Which brothers directed the 1998 comedy There's Something About Mary? So number 5 is which brothers directed the 1998 comedy There's Something About Mary? That's number 5. Darren is watching in Stockport. You went to the cinema. Thought you weren't drinking at the moment, Richie. I'm on a diet, Chris. That's why I'm on the beer. Do you know what I mean? If I have one of these, it's better for that I have one of these because then I'm not getting through a whole bottle of wine. Do you know what I mean? And that is like a cake in a glass. Chris says, oh, do you like beer? God. It's a family show, Chris. You know the rules. Darren says, naughty. Joseph says, I like the split screen. Oh, thank you, Joseph. Hopefully we'll be doing a lot more of this. We're just experimenting at the moment. So if I press the wrong button or the wrong knob and things go a little bit pear-shaped, you know why, don't you? Anyway, let me just give you a quick tour of the new studio. I'm really happy with it, actually. I've been doing some work on it. So we got the green screen. We got the glitter curtain for the quiz. And we've got the London background here. That's for the morning social that we do here. As well as that, we've got the bricks that you can see over there in the background there. That is for doing another random show. So yeah, we did quite a lot here actually. It's like a factory for churning out live streams. Come back to me, that's a better angle because you can't see my fat belly. Right, okay. Number 6. Who starred opposite Richard Gere in 1990's Pretty Woman? Okay, who starred opposite Richard Gere in 1990's Pretty Woman? Oh, by the way, how many of you guessed last week that last week's show was pre-recorded? Brian Barnes, did you guess that it was pre-recorded? Yes, you did. He's giving me a thumbs up. Oh, we've got another special guest in the studio as well. Well, let's bring her in to say hello. She's dying to say hello. Come on. She doesn't like being left out. This is the mean moderator of the North. Hi.
Hiya. Hello,
We can't
everyone.
see
Hope you
you.
had a good holiday.
Oh, you've got a lot of headroom here, dear. A lot of headroom. That's better. Oh, it looks like you've been out sunbathing.
No, gardening.
Gardening. Lisa Honeybone, everyone, the mean moderator of the North. So you're keeping an eye on the chat, are you, Lisa?
Yes, of course.
Making sure everything and everybody's behaving.
Yep. There's not much coming
Fantastic.
through, though.
Not at the moment, but everybody's like enjoying the weather, I guess.
Mm.
All right, then, chicken. We'll catch you a bit later.
See you later.
Right, okay. It's busy in this room today, I tell you. Number 7. Where do the McAllister family holiday in Home Alone 2? So where do the McAllister family holiday in Home Alone 2? So what is the answer to that one? Okay, so I'm just having a look here at some of the text coming in. Chris says Cruella is actually in the cinemas already. I don't understand about the Backstreet Cafe, Chris, what you're putting on that. I don't understand it. So you have to be a little bit more like straight to the point with me in this chat, because if you're giving me lots of mixed messages while I'm doing a live show, my brain don't work like that. I am a natural blonde, my love. Do you know what I mean? Right, okay. Number 8, who stars as the Mask in the 1994 film of the same name? So number 8 is who stars as the Mask in the 1994 film of the same name. That's number 8. Cheers, everybody. Dan Hatch, what are you all drinking tonight? Put it in the chat box just here. Is that a guess then? You've got 2 different answers there, Darren. Which one do you reckon it is? Or did they go to both? What could it be? What's the answer? Lisa Honeybone has just messaged me privately and said, apparently I'm male and I can't multitask. That's so sexist, Lisa Honeybone. That is so sexist. Oh, Brian Barnes is going to have words for you when he comes in this studio, and he's ferocious. Okay. Is Lola watching tonight in Pennsylvania? Give us a thumbs up, Brian. I can see him in a little window down here. You can't see it at the moment, but I'll bring him in a minute so you can see him, everybody. Right, number 9. Who performed the title music for the Bond film Tomorrow Never Dies? Who performed the title music for the Bond film Tomorrow Never Dies? That's number 9. Okay, now I've got to say, I much prefer. Do you know what? It's so nice to be in sync on this quiz, because every show that I've done, I have to try and sync up my mouth to the picture. And sometimes I don't know why, but it's like a Bruce Lee film. Anyway, on this program, I'm in sync. It's amazing. And so it's nice that I'm actually not doing a Bruce Lee film, I think. Okay, so where are we now? Okay, and finally, number 10, who directed, produced, and starred in 1992's film Unforgiven? So who directed, produced, and starred in 1992's Unforgiven? What is the answer to that? Now, if anybody missed any of those questions, just pop it in the chat just here, and I will repeat them for you, but I'm not repeating the whole quiz. just to give you a little bit of a heads up. Right, okay, now every week here on Izzy Wizzy Let's Get Quizzy, I always set a theme for pictures, okay? And we've got a community section. So basically, it's up to you guys. You send in pictures either via the WhatsApp group or the Facebook Messenger group, and you can get involved with that by going to the website izzywizzylet'sgetquizzy.com and clicking on either the WhatsApp or the Messenger group, and bang, you're in the group. You can send me messages, you can send me pictures, and you can, and it's great, it's fun, it's interactive, people share jokes in there as well. So I do encourage you to get involved and join those groups. Now, last 2 weeks ago, I set the theme, and the theme was called tools, because it's DIY season, really. People are doing work on their houses, their gardens, all sorts of things, their cars. So tools. And I've had some fabulous pictures of people that have been sending in. They're coming up a little bit later. And next week's picture theme is windows. Okay, windows is next week's picture theme. So a little bit of a heads up just there. Right, okay, everybody, we are going to go for a very quick break. And when we come back, I'm going to be introducing our very special guest into the studio, the lovely Brian Barnes. I'll be right back after this. Check out the Izzy Wizzy Let's Get Quizzy.com website. This is particularly useful if we lose the stream, because we've got a streaming box at the bottom of the homepage. You can also join our Facebook community here and also our WhatsApp group. Also on our homepage, you can find a link to the following week's show and also any of the shows that we're creating. At the top is our menu where you can visit our past shows, our mini quizzes that we create, and our quiz community section. Every week here in Izzy Wizzy Quizzy, we set a theme, and this particular case, it was autumn. And here you can see all the pictures that some of our viewers have sent in. We recommend quizzes as well here on Izzy Wizzy Let's Get Quizzy. This is Tricky Dicky's Sunday quiz, and this is all done via WhatsApp. If you click on this blue box here, it will take you straight through and you can get involved. And also we are promoting the Barley Mow pub quiz every Saturday at 9 PM at the moment as well. Now on the right hand side of the page, you'll see we've got some little white boxes there. You can join our community on social media. You can also find out what next week's theme is if you miss a show. We've got a merchandise section where you can buy some fabulous merchandise, particularly useful as we're coming up towards Christmas. If you're wondering what to get people, we've got some great face mask designs there, and we've got some t-shirts, some dog accessories, and we've got this fabulous Izzy Wizzy Let's Get Quizzy bumper sticker, which is a definite yes for anybody's car. You can contact us by clicking on this button just here. It takes you through to a form where you just put your name, your email and your message, and that gets straight through to us, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Now if you miss any of our shows, you can catch up with our past shows in the past shows section. It's a little bit like catch up on the BBC. Izzy Wizzy Let's Get Quizzy. There you go. Do have a look at our website, and you can watch all the shows we've been doing over the last year, to be honest. That'll keep you busy for 2.5, 3 days. A solid watching. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, we have got some fabulous merch available. If anybody wants some of these, I've got these fabulous badges. They're all limited edition. Do drop me a line, and let me just show you what they look like. I'll put it on the wide. So we've got the LLTV, which is basically the YouTube channel, and we've got the Izzy Wizzy Let's Get Quizzy. It would help if the LLTV was the right way around. There, you get an idea, don't you? Don't look at my dirty nails. Anyway, those badges up for grabs. Do drop me a message on the WhatsApp group, but do like and subscribe as well. Okay, right, it's time to bring in our very special guest. And before I do, apparently it's Clint Eastwood's 91st birthday today. Wow, he does not look like a man in his 90s, does he? Right, okay, let's bring him in. And without further ado, the lovely Brian Barnes, director of The Redeeming. Here he is. Hello again. How are you, Brian?
I'm all right. Very good to see you again.
Tell us a little bit about your film that you made, The Redeeming.
Well, The Redeeming is a psychological thriller. It's kind of a cat and mouse story that takes place over the course of one night in a remote house in the countryside. It's you know, a lot of tension and suspense, and it's kind of it's split into two halves. There's a sort of an evening, there's a nighttime story, and then a daytime story between these two strangers who are basically trying to size each other up and it all ends very nastily.
Well, we've got a trailer that people can actually watch right now, haven't we? Because I tell you, it had me on the edge of my seats, and it's got a real twist, hasn't it?
It has got a lovely twist, and a lot of people have said to me that they absolutely didn't see the twist coming, and when it came, it was so satisfying to watch.
I didn't see it either. It like hit you in the face. It hit you in the face. Anyway, let's move on. Let's show you this trailer so people get an idea, and then we'll bring you back in, and we can do your quiz in just a second and talk some more about your films. How exciting!
And the headlines once again for the Southwest. The search continues for a missing patient who escaped from the Seaview Secure Unit.
I need help! I think I've busted my arm.
What the dove are you doing out on a night like this? It is a very lonely house you found here. Middle of nowhere, hadn't you noticed? It's enough to drive anyone up the wall, isn't it?
Hello?
It's all fine. I'm fine. Sick of being nice!
Why were you out walking in the middle of the night?
I can walk anywhere, anytime. I don't need permission. I think you'd like to tell me something. Let's start with the backpack, shall we?
I didn't steal it, if that's what you think.
Obviously missed the telegram.
Sorry.
If I'd known you were coming, I'd have had the West Wing aired, and I wouldn't have given the staff the night off. There's nowhere to go, John. Everywhere is locked. You should know that by now. I'm going to punish you, John. You know I have to.
Joyce!
It's Mrs. Hadley! Stop it.
Let me go. You can stop this, Joyce.
Time's up.
Oh, that had me on the edge of my seat, I tell you. It really did. It brought back memories as well. Brian, you shot a lot of that, didn't you, by candlelight?
That's right, yeah. The vast majority of the nighttime part of the story was shot almost entirely by candlelight, because, yeah, the house is supposed to be in the throes of a power failure. So, yeah, candlelight became very important. And yeah, the modern cameras can work really well with just candlelight. It's a fantastic time to be making films from that point of view.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, we'll talk a bit more about the film in just a second. You've got a fabulous round of questions for us now, haven't you?
I have indeed, yes. I've got 10 questions on British film history. So I've focused very much on British films. And I've tried to make some of these questions quite simple, and some of them are really esoteric and very difficult. So I'm not expecting anybody to get 10 out of 10 on this. But shall I get started?
Yep, get started. Over to you.
Thank you. So the first question, I'm hoping this is an easy one for you. How many Harry Potter films are there? And remember that one of the Harry Potter films was divided up into a part 1 and a part 2, and I want to count those as 2 separate films. So how many Harry Potter films are there, including the part 1 and part 2 of one of the films? So that's question 1. How many Harry Potter films?
Have you got a favourite Harry Potter film?
Yes, I really like The Prisoner of Azkaban. That's my favourite. I really like the very dark tone of that film.
It gets darker and darker as they go through them, doesn't it?
Yes, indeed. Yeah, yeah. I did enjoy that one very much.
I've got to say, I like the first one.
Well, the first one is the only book that I've read of the series.
I haven't read any of them. I do like the first one. Okay, so there's a Harry Potter question there for everybody. Okay, let's move on then. Number 2.
So number 2, what is the British equivalent of an Oscar? Now there are 2 possible awards you could choose, and I will accept either one of these. as an answer. So what is the British equivalent of an Oscar, an Academy Award? What would be the British equivalent of that? So question
They're
three.
on the weekend, aren't they?
Say that again?
They're on at the weekend.
Well, yeah, that was the Craft Awards, wasn't it? I think
it's coming on soon, isn't it? Isn't it due? I can't say the name of it because then I'm going to give the name of the thing away. But
well,
I thought
you are.
Yeah, have you actually won one yet?
No, not yet. No, but I was nominated for a National Film Award, so close.
Well, anyway, going back to question one, Lisa Honeybone says she's read all the Harry Potter books. The last one she read in one night.
Wow.
Do you speed read or something, Lisa Honeybone? Because you know some people can speed read. It's do you know when I was doing this, and I know you're making a documentary actually because it ties in with your documentary. When I was doing a hypnotherapy, I was recording a hypnotherapy workshop with a world famous hypnotherapist, and she was actually talking about speed reading. And literally, we tested her. And she just literally touches the page, flicks it over, touches the page, flicks it over. And she moves through the book so quickly that she's read it, literally a big book, a big thick book within, a couple of hours.
That's impressive.
Very clever.
Yeah, very useful skill, definitely. Yeah.
Definitely. Let's move on then. Number 3.
So question 3, there was a famous British film production company that made horror films in the 1950s, 60s, and 70s. What was the name of that production company? They made some absolutely classic horror films in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Christopher Lee and Vincent Price would have been the major stars in them. So what was the name of that production company?
Oh, I'm a big fan. Do you know, I'm liking these questions, Brian. I'm liking these questions.
Thank you.
I've actually been to the studios where you're talking about those horror films. I've been to the studios. I wanted to actually get in, have a look around because they're sort of like derelict. Do you know what I mean? But you can't get in. You can't get in at all.
Well, I mean, if you ever walk down Wardour Street, you walk past the building where their offices were. So I walk past Wardour Street offices all the time. So you're very connected with it.
Right. Okay. Oh. Right. Let's move on then. Number. What are we on now then, Brian?
So this is question 4.
Yeah.
So a very, very famous British film director was Alfred Hitchcock. But how many films did he direct? And it is a very high number, very high number. And to make it easier for you, I'm allowing you to answer to the nearest 5 because it is such a high number. I don't think anybody would know for sure offhand how many feature films Hitchcock directed. So just to the nearest 5 will be fine.
And do you have a favourite Hitchcock film?
Oh, I love Psycho. I absolutely love Psycho. And I'm kind of fond of Vertigo. It's but Rear Window I probably prefer more. And I did enjoy Lady Vanishes and also the 39 Steps. So yeah, there are quite a few Hitchcock films I'm enamored of, definitely. But my favorite would be Psycho, definitely.
Where have you gone? You keep disappearing on me. This blinking thing. I'm meant to press buttons, present a show. Do you know what I mean? I'm doing everything here. Just give me a broom. I'll sweep the floor at the same time. Sorry, Brian. There you are. That's what I want. That's what I wanted to do. I think my favourite Hitchcock film was The Birds.
Oh, okay. Right. Yeah.
And there was one scene in The Birds that I don't know how many times, but the main actress in The Birds, she was thrown in this cage with all these birds, and he kept making her do it over and over and over and over again. And psychologically, it really disturbed her. And I think she was there for a few hours doing this one scene over and over again. She was pecked to bits, and then she walked off the set. She didn't come back for weeks.
There's a lovely bit of trivia I can share with you about the birds, actually. Do you remember those shots where there's that climbing frame, the children's climbing frame, and the birds are all roosting on it, and they're all sort of like amassing as a threatening presence? Do you know how they did that?
How?
They put model birds on a small number of model birds on the climbing frame, and then the real birds went to sit next to them. It attracted them. So they started off with maybe like 5 or 6 fake birds, then 5 or 6 real birds joined on, and then they added a few more fake birds, and then a few, and so until they eventually filled the whole thing up. It's a very impressive sequence, and if you watch that sequence, you can see that they cut away to Tippi Hedren watching all the time to give them the chance to run out there and put out more birds, basically. So
it is a fantastic film, and when it was made, you know what I mean, for the time, it was brilliant. Okay, let's move on with our next question, Brian.
Right, so we're on to number 5, and it's a similar question to the last one, but this one is much easier. How many James Bond 007 films are there? Now, remember, there's a new one just about to come out, and there are some unofficial James Bond films that have been made by different production companies. So there are lots of Bond films out there. But how many? And again, you could count the nearest 5 if you're not quite sure. So how many James Bond 007 films, including the unofficial ones and including the new one that's about to come out, how many James Bond films are there?
Oh, who is your favourite Bond?
Do you know what? I really liked Pierce Brosnan. I really liked Pierce Brosnan.
That's what I would have said as well. I would have said Pierce Brosnan. Definitely.
Especially in GoldenEye. I mean, GoldenEye is my second favourite Bond film of all time. I just love that one, and I thought he was fantastic in that.
I think, yeah, I've got to say, I do agree with you. I like Sean. I like Roger. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I like the old sort of camp Bond films.
Yes, yeah. I mean, when I was a child, the first Bond film I went to see was The Man with the Golden Gun. So that was Roger Moore. So that was the first Bond film that I ever saw. So I kind of got used to Bond being, this old middle-aged man who didn't really move that well. I kind of had the wrong impression of Bond. And then when I went back and watched Goldfinger, which is an absolute classic, you realise that Roger Moore was completely wrong as Bond,
No, he wasn't. I do like Roger. Now you said that, I want to break out in a rendition of Goldfinger. Goldfinger. Okay, what's our next question then?
Yes. Right, so now we're on to the first of our really esoteric questions on British film history. So this is number 6. In the 1940s and 50s, there was a very celebrated filmmaking duo, and they were called the Archers. And they made some really famous films like A Matter of Life and Death and The Red Shoes. But what were their names? And I will accept just their surnames, because I couldn't remember their first names, but their surnames are very famous. As a pair of filmmakers, their surnames were often spoken in hushed tones because they were so well revered at the time. So in the 1940s and 1950s, the Archers made huge hits like A Matter of Life and Death and The Red Shoes. What were their names?
That's a difficult one.
Yes, it's not that Archers.
The chat is getting a little bit raunchy. Christopher Walker, honestly, my dear. Okay, yeah, that's a good question. You're going to be moaned at by Christine Lathwell. By the way, I've got to say a big shout out to Alan Lathwell as well, who is watching. He'll moan if I don't say hello to him. And a big shout out to Barry. Apparently, they're watching the show in a garage at this precise moment. So great to have you here. Right, what's our next question?
Right, so number 7 is a question about Charlie Chaplin, who was obviously a huge Hollywood star, but he was born and grew up in London before he went over to Hollywood. So the question is, in which area of London was Charlie Chaplin born? And it's literally just up the road from where I live now, so very close to me. But yeah, what
And you're
area
always
of
in a
London?
secret location, aren't you?
Well, I'm in my location overlooking Canary Wharf this evening. So yes.
Okay, the little bit of a clue there, everybody. Do you know what? I remember when they were filming Chaplin, and I was living in Manor House in North London, and they were filming Chaplin, and they did one of the scenes. They took over one of the pubs in my area because it's got like this lovely sort of like porch area, and that's what they sort of like used when he walked into a bar. Yeah, so Robert Downey Jr. was just a few meters from my house. He could have popped in for a cup of tea. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I lived in Manor House up until about 5 years ago. So yeah,
It's a great place to
small
live.
world.
I will never forget, though, we had mice and I couldn't get rid of the blinking thing. So in the end, I'd had enough. I had to get out of there. It wasn't the fact that we were keeping the house dirty in any way, but they get through the floorboards. And when you've got a row of shops and they're like 4-story houses, it's like, oh.
It's interesting. It's interesting you mentioned the mice, actually, because when I lived in Manor House, I had mice as well. And they actually chewed holes in the backpack that we used in the Redeeming. So the character, the main character who's walking around with a backpack in the film in the Redeeming is carrying a backpack that's been chewed up by the mice when I was living in Manor House.
Did you tell him this?
Yes, I did.
Fantastic. Yeah. Okay, what's the next question, my dear?
Right, we're on to number 8 now. Now, Cary Grant was another huge Hollywood star, but he was actually born and grew up in Bristol before he went to Hollywood.
Really?
Yes, he grew up. He left Bristol. I think he was like 16 or 17, maybe as old as 19 when he left Bristol and went to Hollywood. The question I have for you: what was Cary Grant's real name?
Ooh.
It wasn't as cool as Cary Grant, that's for sure.
Oh. Some of these are really hard. Some of them are really easy. Let's find out and see. And let's just have a quick word with Miss Honeybone and see whether she's finding it difficult or quite hard. Here she is. Hello.
Hello.
Are you finding it difficult or hard tonight?
A bit of a mixture. Some I'm enjoying, some I'm not.
Oh, what do you mean? You're hard to please.
No.
She says it as it is, Brian. She says it as it is.
I'm a northerner. What do you expect?
You can't please everybody, can you?
No, I'll let you get back on with the quiz, Lise. At least she wasn't stuffing her face this time, because as soon as she takes a bite out of something, I'm putting her on that screen. Right, what's the next question?
Right, so we're on to question 9 now. Yeah. Now, another very famous British film director was David Lean. And David Lean directed a lot of wonderful films like The Oliver Twist and The Great Expectations versions that I adore. But he also made an Oscar-winning war film that was set in Burma. And it had a very catchy theme tune, Colonel Bogey, that was whistled by the soldiers. What was the name of that film that won an Oscar for David Lean? It's a war film. I'll whistle it. But it's that one that goes...
that one.
Yeah. And
I know a root version of that song.
So yeah, it's a war film set in Burma, and it won an Oscar for David Lean. What was the name of that film? That's question 9.
Okay. And number 10? Right,
number 10. Now, this is a really, really hard question. And because it's such a hard question, I'm going to give you plenty of flex on this one. So
you are kind.
There are 32 possible answers to this question, and you only need to answer 3. Okay, you only need to get 3 of these answers, but there are 32 to choose from to make it a lot easier for you. So, out of the whole of British film history, can you name 3 studios that have featured in British film history? So,
I can.
studios where films have been made in the UK, in Britain. So, there are 32 possible answers. 32 possible answers. We only need 3 to get the point, basically. So you've got plenty to choose from. So that's a tricky one.
Are most of them down south?
That actually, one of the things that I found really fascinating when I was researching this question was that they are absolutely spread over the entirety of the UK. So, they're in Northern Ireland, they're in the north of England, they're in the south of England, they're in Scotland, they're in the southwest, they're in the deep southeast, they're all over the country, which is wonderful to see that film production happened all over the UK at some point in our history, That's because nowadays people think of it as being very concentrated on like Manchester or London or something, but in the history of British film, it has been all over the country.
We had a huge industry, didn't we, at one stage?
At one time, yes, yeah.
What a shame! What a shame. Anyway, Brian, it's thank you for those questions. That's fantastic. You're staying with us. We're going to be talking a bit more about your documentary and the redeeming and everything else. We've got to crack on with the rest of the quiz as well in just a second. I'm going to take a quick break for about 40 seconds. Go and refill your drinks and join us back here in about 45 seconds. I'll see you then. And we've got a picture round for you on movie posters. That's all coming up right after this.
With more people working from home during the pandemic, the need to use video resources has increased. Do you need to deliver presentations on camera or online? Be it on Zoom, with a video crew, or in a studio, the need to deliver messages via video is increasing, and it's vitally important you engage the audience from the start. This book is a must for anybody who has to present on camera for work. It teaches you step by step how to build up an on-camera presence and will assist you to start building up viewer trust. Learn from an experienced presenter and media skills mentor and pick up some vital tips to help you perfect your on-camera confidence. The book is available on Amazon for a special price of $8.99, including postage and packing. Details are in the description.
And I've got the book just here. You can order it from Amazon. It's $8.99. It's fantastic. I would say that because I wrote it, but you can get it, okay? And the details are in the description below. So if you want one, get one quick. Anyway, that's enough of my plug in that. We've got round 3, which is all on pictures. And then coming up as well at the end of the quiz, we're showing your pictures as well. It's tools, and we've got some pretty weird ones in there as well. So here is a question. You need to guess the name of the film from the film poster or the part of the film poster, because some I couldn't fit on the camera. Anyway, here is question number 1. What is this one? Let's just enlarge that. There we go. What is this one? Nice, easy one to begin with there. Chris Walker has asked Lisa Honeybone, are you sitting there naked? And no, she is wearing apparently a white strappy top. Thank you for sharing that with us, because I was getting worried myself. There's some good answers there, Darren. Thank you for those. Very good indeed. Well, I can't see that. Somebody needs to text and I can read it, Chris. I can't see it. It's underneath the logo. So this is question number 1. What is it? Okay, it's movie poster. You need to guess the name of the film. Number 2. What is this one? We've got Laurie Slack watching the show in Pennsylvania. So this is number 2. Again, I've made some of these quite easy and some might be a little bit difficult. Do you know what I mean? Okay, number 3. It looks like he's got a bird on his head that's just been to the loo. This is number 3. Number 4. Lisa said, by the way, on that other one, all she could see was a woodpecker. That's number 4. Number 5. If you missed any, I'll skim through it very quickly at the end of these. Number 6. Number 7. Number 8. I love this film. I love this film. It's got to be one of my favorite films. That's number 8. Laurie says, how in the world will you have time to read out your 32 studio answers, Brian? Well, there's a way. Number 9. And finally, number 10. Again, another one of my favorite films. I love Robert Zemeckis and Steven Spielberg films, to be honest. I wonder when they're going to remake E.T. Do you know what I mean? That'll be the next thing they do. Okay, so that is number 10 in our picture round. Okay, so we will skim back through those very quickly in case you missed any. We'll start at number 1. Okay, number 1 is that one. Number 2. Number 3. Number 4. Number 5. Number 6. Number 7. Number 8. Number 9. And finally, number 10, just there. Okay, how did you all get on? Easy, hard, you know what I mean? I thought it was nice and easy, actually. Nice, easy one. How did you get on, Brian? Did you get on all right with those ones?
Yeah, I think I got all but one. The one that you said was your favorite ever film. I wasn't sure about that one. I've got an idea, but I wasn't absolutely certain.
You're going to kick yourself seriously when I tell you the answers. Okay, so now we've got our 4th round to get through now, which again is general knowledge about films. Everything's about films. Okay, and we'll kick off with number 1, which is which Friends actor starred in the 1998 movie Lost in Space? So which Friends actor starred in the 1998 movie Lost in Space? There's a lot going on with Friends at the moment. All over the social media, people have been messaging and putting things up about how wonderful Friends is, etc., etc. I've still yet to catch up, so I'm not sure what's going on there. Maybe you can enlighten me, Brian, or do you know?
Well, they've been doing the Friends reunion, and I mean, I've seen a few clips from it, and it definitely looks like it was a good show. I haven't seen the show itself, but I mean, I was quite a fan of Friends when it was on air originally, and certainly whenever I catch a little bit of an episode, I always end up watching most of it. I mean, Joey was always my favourite character.
I like Jennifer Aniston.
And I was initially very excited when they did that spin-off show of Joey, but it didn't turn out that well, unfortunately. But yeah.
Anyway, that's another story. Let's move on. Number 2. Who directed the 1995 blockbuster Apollo 13? Who directed the 1995 blockbuster Apollo 13? So he's writing the answers, talking to me at the same time. It's multitasking. And you're actually making a documentary at the moment, have you? At the moment, aren't you, Brian?
I am indeed. Yeah, I'm in the very sort of final stages of finishing off the film at the moment. It's a feature-length documentary about hypnotherapy. It's called Secrets of Hypnotherapy, and it's about a particular hypnotherapist and the work that he's done. He's done some amazing work. One of his favorite techniques is to help people to stop smoking, and he does it in a 1-hour session, just a single 1-hour session, which is really impressive.
Well, we'll play some of that. We'll play some of that in just a second. I'll read this question out and then we'll put it on to give people an idea what you're doing. Number 3 is which Iranian British stand-up comedian starred in the 1999 movie The Mummy? So which Iranian British stand-up comedian starred in the 1999 movie The Mummy? Lisa Honeybone, by the way, has said that she's had hypnotherapy done, but it didn't work on her. Okay, let's take a look at this documentary, a little bit of it.
It was a very life-changing experience. It wasn't easy, but it happened. I had my first cigarette when I was 17, and now I'm 34. And I love to do sport. So smoking was something that really didn't fit in my habits, because I like to go gymming, I like to go cycling, I'm like very active person. Smoking was something that was really pulling me down. So what made me happy a lot is that I can go running and I don't have that feeling of being breathless. Is that I can enjoy more my free time because I can enjoy doing more like sport, which is what I love. And smoking, it wasn't helping, obviously. It was helping for the other way. So
it's beautifully shot. I've got to say, we'll bring Brian on in a second just to talk a bit more about that. Number 4 is, for which 1997 movie did Kim Basinger receive a Best Supporting Actress Oscar? For which 1997 movie did Kim Basinger receive a Best Supporting Actress Oscar? So what is the answer to that one? That is number 4. Lisa Honeybone says a friend of hers is a successful hypnotherapist. He's a top hypnotherapist. That's fantastic. Let's bring Brian in to talk to us a little bit more about this movie. Hi, Brian.
Hello.
It's beautifully shot.
Well, thank you very much. Yes. Yeah, we've tried to do our best with it, certainly. I mean, the thing that Lisa has just said, that she's had hypnotherapy and it didn't work. I mean, one of the points that we make in our film is that hypnotherapy will only work if you actually are fully committed to it and you really, really want to make the change in your life. So hypnotherapy isn't a guarantee unless you are fully committed to the process, basically. It is and that's one of the really interesting things that I've discovered in making this film, is that hypnotherapy is very much a partnership between the hypnotherapist and the client. It's not just the hypnotherapist doing something to you. It's encouraging you to do the work with the hypnotherapist. And in the film, we say it's actually something like 80-20. It's sort of 80% is the client doing the work, and then 20% is the hypnotherapist sort of guiding the client into the right direction.
They plant a seed in your head, don't they, when they're doing it? Let's move on to number 5. We'll come back to that in just a second. Who starred as pilot Topper Harley in the 1991 movie Hot Shots? So number 5 is, who starred as pilot Topper Harley in the 1991 movie Hot Shots? So what is the answer to that one? So how long have you been working on this documentary then, Brian?
Well, we shot it in January under lockdown conditions, which made it pretty tricky. And I've been working on it ever since. So I've been sort of editing it for the last 4 months or so, and we're sort of coming to the end of the process now. So I'm hoping to get the film out by sort of autumn this year. That's the kind of plan at the moment.
Fantastic. And how can people follow that and find out more information about it?
Well, I think there's no official website for this new film yet. So I think the easiest way for people to keep in touch is to go to theredeeming.com, which is the previous feature film, the one with the poster behind me here. Go to theredeeming.com. There's an email list you can sign up to at theredeeming.com, and if you're on that list, I will make an announcement about the new film when it's available on that list. So that's probably the best thing to do right now.
Right, well, I'll give you all those details again. Brian, you're going to be back with us in a few minutes just to talk a bit more and tell us how we can get in touch with you or blah, 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 and get hold of the redeeming and all that sort of stuff. So we'll come back to you in just a minute. I'm going to read the rest of these questions out because I could be talking to you all day. All right, so I'll let you get your head down to get on with the questions.
Thank you.
I can't get my words out tonight for love nor money. Right, okay. Number 6. For which Jane Austen adaptation did Emma Thompson win a Best Screenplay Oscar? So for which Jane Austen adaptation did Emma Thompson win a Best Screenplay Oscar? That is number 6. How are you doing there, Lisa Honeybone? Are you doing okay? Give me a thumbs up, or have you fallen asleep? No, oh, that was that was rude. It seriously looks like you're watching the show. She's watching the show on her bed. Let's bring her on to say a quick hello. Very quick hello, Lisa.
Hi, look, they're the straps, everyone.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. Put you out of your misery. Right. Number 7. Who starred as Soviet submarine captain in The Hunt for Red October? Who starred as a Soviet submarine captain in The Hunt for Red October? That's number 7. That's going down so nicely. By the way, we've got some fabulous merch available at the moment. If you go to our website, izzywizzy.letsgetquizzy.com, we've got these fabulous cups. Get one quick, okay, because they're limited edition. And I'm not just saying that to make you go and get one, because to be perfectly honest, it's like we just supply the artwork. But they are coming off, and we are going to be putting some new stuff up there. So do get one if you want one. They are fantastic cups, and you can put them in the dishwasher as well, because I know that, because I have done. Right, okay. Number 8. Who won the Best Actor Oscar for his performance in 1996, Shine? So who won the Best Actor Oscar for his performance in 1996's Shine? So that's number 8. After these questions, we're going to look at all your pictures that you've been sending in. The theme is tools. By the way, next week's theme, it's Windows. Okay, Windows is the theme for next week. By the way, if you want to see anyone's pictures from the last week and whatever, you can do so by going to our website, izzywizzy.letsgetquizzy.com, and click on our community section there, and you can look away at people's pictures. Number 9, what was the title of Stanley Kubrick's last movie? So what was the title of Stanley Kubrick's last movie? That's number 9. One more to go. Oh, let's have a look and see what people have been putting in our chat box. Oh, Lisa, I'm disappointed. Something. I have to drop in wearing a pillowcase or something. Yeah, I think that'd be a good idea. Actually, what we should do is we should have a toga quiz party. What do you reckon? Chris says, you told me your favourite film was the Powerpuff Girls. Yeah, right. We've got as well Darren as well. Yeah, it's a good answer, Darren. Thank you for that. Thank you very much. Brilliant. Don't forget, click subscribe at the bottom of the screen. If you have just joined us for the first time, every little helps. If you're watching us on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, Periscope, or YouTube, please click on that subscribe button. It really does help the channel. We don't bombard you with loads of rubbish. And every time we release a video, you'll get a notification if you click on the bell as well, if you're watching on YouTube. Okay, finally, number 10. Who starred in the title role of the 1994 movie Wyatt Earp? So who starred in the title role of the 1994 movie Wyatt Earp? What is the answer? to that one. Okay, so that brings us to the end of our quiz. We need to run through the answers, but before we do that, I am going to put on the pictures that people have been sending to me, and the theme is tools. So just bear with. Okay, first up, we've got the lovely Joseph O'Loughlin, who's been doing a bit of DIY. Oh no, he's my producer, by the way. A bit of DIY in his home. There he is there with his drill. Unfortunately, it's not plugged in, but there's Joseph and his tool. This is Elliot, who is actually rebuilding some of Lisa Honeybone's house, and I think she's nearly finished. Give me a thumbs up if you're nearly finished, Lisa. No, thumbs down. She'll always... Oh, she is nearly finished. Sorry, this is Marcus. What am I talking about? Elliot. There's Marcus there again. And he's putting in a new front door just there. Thank you for sending those in, Lisa. This is all the work she did in her. She basically moved in this house. She's been on a cruise ship. She got into the house, and there were so many problems with it. She's basically had to rebuild the thing. But there's the lovely Marcus just there. Here's Chris Walker and his tool. Lisa Honeybone is going to be tutting just there, but there he is just there on his new sofa, and there he is there with his Wilco drill. So fabulous. Brian and Lola with their tools with the tools of the trade behind the army, all showing their tools, their swords and everything else. There they are there. They're marching down from Hyde Park Barracks, I believe. And here we've got Tina Lloyd with the kids. She wanted the kids to go on it. So there is the lovely Carl and Adi. What on earth was I thinking when I bought that T-shirt there? Seriously. What on earth was I thinking? Okay, these are Joseph's tools as well. He sent these in. These are his face masks that he likes to walk around in. This is from Jerry in Glasgow, who sent this in. He said, these are my tools. These are his, he likes them very much. There we go. Thank you for that. Duncan Curtis sending quite a few pictures, actually. This is Duncan. He is a cameraman. Here he is at a race, and he's showing the tools of his trade just here. There he is with a camera, filming an office scene. There he is, I think, doing the darts. Oh, there's me and the tools that I do when I'm like directing. So there we are just there. And there's me presenting, and there's some of my tools. Thank you for sending these in, Duncan. That's fabulous. That's really cool of you. Thank you so much, darling. That's lovely. Right, okay. Let's run through those answers. Brian, we need you on standby to read out yours in just a second. Okay, so without further ado, let's have a look, and I'll just queue up my movie posters. There we go. Oh, Lisa Honeybone says, where was my picture? I don't know, Lisa. It was in there. It was in there. It's just vanished. And I'll find it and I'll put it in the community and I'll put it on next week so you get double helpings next week. I promise. I promise. I'm going to get told off. I'll bring her in a minute. Okay, 1 point for each answer you get right. Number one, who won the Oscar for Best Supporting Oscar for his role in 1993's The Fugitive? It's Tommy Lee Jones. Number two, who sang Beauty and the Beast over the end credits of Disney's 1991 movie? It's Celine Dion and Peabo Bryson. Number three, who played the title role in the 1993 movie Dave? It's Kevin Kline. Number four, who played Cruella de Vil in the 1996 version of 101 Dalmatians? It's Glenn Close. Number five, which brothers directed the 1998 comedy There's Something About Mary? It's Bobby and Peter Farrelly. Number six, who starred opposite Richard Gere in 1990's Pretty Woman? It's Julia Roberts. Number seven, where do the McAllister family go in Home Alone 2 for their holiday? It's Florida. Number eight, who stars as the Mask in the 1994 film of the same name? It's Jim Carrey. Number nine, who performed the title music for the Bond film Tomorrow Never Dies? It's Sheryl Crow. And number 10, who directed, produced and starred in 1992's Unforgiven? It's Clint Eastwood. Now, without further ado, let's bring on Brian to read out his questions and answers. Here he is. Hiya.
Hello again. Hello.
Okay, all over to you then, Brian.
All right. So, how many Harry Potter films are there? There are 8, including the part 1, part 2 of the last film. There are 8 Harry Potter films. What is the British equivalent of an Oscar? It's called a BAFTA award, but you could have a BIFA award, which is the British Independent Film Awards. Number 3, what is the name of the famous British film production company that made horror films in the 1950s, 60s, and 70s? It was Hammer Films. How many feature films did Alfred Hitchcock direct? It was 55, and remember, you can answer to the nearest 5. So if you got 50 or 60 or anywhere in between, then you've got the point there. How many James Bond 007 films have been made altogether, including the unofficial ones? Again, you can answer to the nearest 5. There are 28, so you could have 23 right up to 33. Anything in that range would be acceptable for the point. The Archers were a celebrated filmmaking duo in the 1940s and 50s, making classics such as A Matter of Life and Death and The Red Shoes. What were their names? They were called Michael Powell and Emmerich Pressburger, and they're often referred to just as Powell and Pressburger as a filmmaking team. In which area of London was Charlie Chaplin born? He was born in Woolworth, which is an area of London just up the road from me. Cary Grant, who born and grew up in Bristol and then went to Hollywood. What was his real name? His real name was Archibald Alec Leach. He was usually known as Archie Leach, but you can have the point if you had that. Number 9, David Lean directed an Oscar-winning war film set in Burma. What was its name? It was called The Bridge on the River Kwai, and I saw that Darren got that in the chat earlier. And then number 10, well done, Darren, indeed. And then number 10, this is the really hard question. Right, name 3 studios from British film history, and there are 32 to choose from. You could pick any 3 from Ardman, Beaconsfield, Bray, Bushy, Black Hanger, Catford, Cricklewood, Denham, Dragon, Ealing, Elstree, Fountain, Gainsborough Gate, Isleworth, Kew Bridge, Lime Grove, Longcross, Merton Park, MGM British, Nettlefold, Pinewood, Riverside, Sands, Shepperton, Southall, Surbiton, Twickenham, Walthamstow, Leavesden, West London, or Wimbledon.
And did you have Jacob Street? Did you have Jacob Street Studios in there as well?
I didn't have Jacob Street Studios in there because that's more of a TV studio than a film studio, isn't it? So
well, they made London's Burn in there, didn't they, when it was film?
Yeah, well, that was TV, though, wasn't it? So.
Oh, okay. Okay, darling. Well, fabulous questions just there, Brian. That's really cool. So, brilliant. We'll have you back in just a second. I'm just going to crack on now with round 3, which was the picture round. Okay, so the first one is Back to the Future. The second one here, this is Alien. Number 3, Apocalypse Now. Number 4, Beetlejuice. Number 5, Dirty Harry. Number 6, Enter the Dragon. Number 7, The Exorcist. Number 8, The Goonies. Number 9, The Grand Budapest Hotel. And finally, number 10, this is Gremlins. So how many of those did you get right? Add them up. Okay, now we've got our final round now, which is round 4. Question number 1. Which Friends actor starred in the 1998 movie Lost in Space? It's Matt LeBlanc. Number 2. Who directed the 1995 blockbuster Apollo 13? It's Ron Howard. Number 3. Which Iranian British stand-up comedian starred in the 1999 movie The Mummy? It's Omid Djalali. Number 4. For which 1997 movie did Kim Basinger receive a Best Supporting Actress Oscar? It's LA Confidential. Number 5, who starred as pilot Topper Harley in the 1991 movie Hot Shots, is Charlie Sheen. Number 6, for which Jane Austen adaptation did Emma Thompson win a Best Screenplay Oscar? It's Sense and Sensibility. Number 7, who starred as a Soviet submarine captain in The Hunt for Red October? It's Sean Connery. Number 8, who won the Best Actor Oscar for his performance in 1996 film The Shine? It's Geoffrey Rush. Number 9, what was the title of Stanley Kubrick's last movie? It's Eyes Wide Shut. And number 10, who starred in the title role of the 1994 movie Wyatt Earp? It's Kevin Costner. How many did you get right? Write them on the screen if you can. Share it with the world. we've got Chris here. He said, if next week's theme is windows, are you encouraging us all to go and randomly sneak up and take pictures of through people's windows? No, we are not. Okay, fantastic. Well, before I bring on my guests, I've got another picture to show you here. Lisa Honeybone sent this in. I'll put it on the wide. Here she is, just here doing her something with her tools, just there. And this is another one of her favorite toys. There we are. She can tell you all about it. Anyway, Lisa, hello, darling.
Hello.
You're right.
Yes, thanks.
So tell us a little bit about that tool very quickly. Is that your favorite?
I was putting the brackets on the shelves that's in the second picture. So the shelves were then put up and the toolbox was put away and all my tools were put on it, all nice and neat at long last.
Fabulous. Well, it's been great having you on the show. We haven't had you on much, but you've been there keeping an eye on the chat, haven't you?
Oh, yes. Loving some of the comments.
Yeah. What about this nudity thing? Chris is going to wear a pillowcase one day.
Yeah. Interesting to see. Where is he going to wear it on his head?
I think, yeah. Okay. Chris, we want to see you in just a pillowcase on your head. That's it. In the quiz. And we want to see a picture. Okay. Because Lisa is going to be not very happy with you otherwise, aren't you, Lisa?
I might not be happy if he puts a full picture of him just wearing that on his head.
Well, you know what? It'll be fun. Okay. Thanks, Lisa. We'll see you next week.
All right. See you next week.
Okay, let's bring on my special guest this week, Brian Barnes, director of The Redeeming. So, Brian, before you go, thank you so much for writing those fabulous movie-inspired questions for us and telling us a little bit about your documentary and also your film, The Redeeming. Just remind people how they can watch the film again.
Well, the easiest way is just to go to theredeeming.com, and there are plenty of options to watch the film from there. So we're on lots of different platforms. The easiest one in the UK is probably Amazon Prime, but there are other options if you haven't got that. At theredeeming.com.
Theredeeming.com. Amazon Prime as well. It's free to watch on there. Redeeming.com tells you all about that. And also, you're going to put all those announcements about your documentary about hypnotherapy on that website as well, aren't you?
Yeah, I'll be sending out emails to the people who subscribe to the email list on theredeeming.com. So if you want to know more about the hypnotherapy documentary, then sign up to our Redeeming email list, and then we'll put an announcement there.
Fantastic. Well, it's been fantastic having you on the show. I can talk to you till the cows come home, but the show goes so quickly. We're a few minutes over what we should be, but I'm sure everyone's found it really informative and really enjoyed it as well. And it was great. Thank you for sending in that material as well. And yeah, we'll see you next week on the quiz. But you're actually going to be doing the quiz next week, aren't you?
I will be taking part next time. Yes.
Fabulous. Well, you take care then, Brian.
Thanks a lot, Richie. Bye-bye.
See you later. Okay, so everyone, thank you so much for everyone who's participated in the show, for everyone in the chat just here. Chris Walker, we've got the lovely Joseph, we've got Darren in there, we've got Lisa Honeybone, and Lola. Oh God, the list is endless. We've got Christine Lathwell and Alan Lathwell and Barry, who've all messaged in as well. So it doesn't matter if you don't get involved in the chat. We do encourage it, but you don't have to. And let us know what sort of marks you get. Put them in the chat just here. If the chat goes off in just a moment, then write it below in the video feed if you can. Don't forget, do subscribe to the channel if you just tuned in for the first time tonight. It's really simple. If you're watching on YouTube, click that subscribe button. We don't bombard you with loads of crap. If you're watching us on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, Periscope, like us, love heart us, spread the love. Do you know what I mean? We're back next week, same time, 8 o'clock. 7 o'clock, I'm on Glitterbeam Radio, and I'm hosting a show called About and Out, which is an LGBT plus travel and event show. So you can get that on the Glitterbeam app, or you can get it by asking Alexa. I have to say it quietly because she's in the next room and she'll start talking. And it's also coming on DAB very, very soon. Until next week, stay well and stay healthy, and I'll see you then. And don't forget, send in those pictures, windows, okay? Ta-ra!